Afternoon YouTube, welcome back to Try or Die Garage. I've had another delivery of bits and pieces for the bike, so this afternoon I'm going to sort through some stuff. I'm hoping to solve the wheel problem, so I managed to get a hub and sprocket carrier for a GS 500 that the forums say should fit in the Bandit Mark 1 hub. So we'll have a look together and see. It's a bit grubby, so I'm probably going to start off with giving it a good clean. I do know that the GS 500 has a 520 chain and sprocket, so a lot lighter. I'm hoping that the GSX or the Katana sprocket will bolt onto the hub, which will give me the right sprocket size and a 530 chain. If it doesn't, then I am just going to find a 530 sprocket for the GS. I believe that you can get them. So yeah, I'll set up and we can have a look at what we've got and see if it's going to work. So it's cleaned up really nicely. Now it's kind of the moment of truth. So you can see it has cleaned up really well. I have taken the sprocket off, mainly because it was just getting in the way of cleaning it, but the sprocket is also cleaned up really nicely. So it's almost a brand new sprocket, I would suspect, but it's a 520 as I said, and the Bandit and the Katana wheel basically are both 530, but I do know that you can get a 530 for a GS. So next thing is, does it fit? So let me set the camera up again at the back of the bike, and we can see if this goes in. Right. Let's try this again. So that in there. This Bandit spacer does fit inside the bearing on the wheel and on the axle, so it would be perfect if it wasn't probably 3 to 5 mil too large. So let's just take that out. That in. And there we go. It fits. Now the question is, does the chain fit? I don't know, maybe I'm the fucking wrong one, but that wheel is pretty much dead center in that spring arm. you can actually see, hopefully. But that chain is rubbing on the tyre. So, and you can see, it's so difficult to tell if the chain is straight, but I've got a bit of aluminium straight edge. Let's see what happens when I line this up. I mean, it looks straight. It does look straight. So yeah, we'll have to see what to do about that. I think what I might try and do is put the 530 sprocket from the Bandit on the GS hub carrier or sprocket carrier hub, and just see if that improves things. Let's see what happens now. Yeah, I suspect that this is not going to be as straightforward as, well, as advertised. That much I can tell you. So the wheel looks perfectly centered. So well, at least it does to me. It does to me, but we'll see. So it's clearly not. You have a look there. I mean, there is some clearance with the tyre. It could be, yeah, if you have a look at the adjusters on the side, it could be that the tyre might be slightly misaligned, but I don't know. Today what I want to do is go back to the rear wheel issue. So what I've actually done is I've mixed all my videos up, and I'm going to put all the wheel in one. So if you're watching this, then you will have seen what I've done previously. But basically the objective is to try and figure out what the best chain alignment is going to be, and how much I need to remove from the rear wheel hub carrier, sprocket carrier, so that the wheel lines up perfectly. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the smaller sprocket on that I bought for the wheel. So let's put it in the wheel. So I've got the wheel in. At the moment it's shifted all the way over to the right. So I'm just looking at the chain run. And of course, like an idiot, I haven't hooked the chain behind the sprocket, so let me take that out. So I have the new sprocket on. So I've got bandit wheel, bandit hub, a smaller 41 tooth sprocket for a 230 chain, and I have marked up the swing arm and basically lined up the chain. So as it stands at the moment, the rear sprocket is perfectly in line with the front sprocket. The only problem is, and I'll show you in a minute, is the wheel is pushed all the way over to the right. So it means the wheel is rubbing the swing arm. So earlier I talked about taking the bandit hub, sprocket carrier, whatever you want to call it, and trimming it down by about 10 mil, and that should then give us the clearance that we need. But what it will do is, by cutting the carrier down by 10 mil, it will push the sprocket in by 10 mil, which will put it really close to the tyre. It will also mean it needs to go to a machine shop, because it's obviously not something that I can do. But at the moment the train is perfectly straight, but the wheel is off to the right hand side in the swing arm. If I move the wheel so it sits in the middle of the swing arm, then essentially the center of the chain is 6 to 7 mil off center, and the nuts and the sprocket on the rear are dangerously close to the swing arm. And it's still not, the wheel is still not in the center of the swing arm, because the nuts and the sprocket. So if I move the nuts and manipulate them, I can get the wheel in the center of the spring arm, but it means that the nuts are basically going to rub on the spring arm, on the swing arm, not the spring arm. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this video here for now. I've come up with an idea which I think might work, and also will avoid having to go to the basically take the hub in for engineering. So I'm giving it some thought at the moment, but it could just work. So I'm going to leave it here for now. Sorry if the videos appear to be quite disjointed, but basically I've decided to put all the wheel footage into one video, because it's, or two videos, or however many episodes. Basically I want to put all the wheel footage together so that anybody else who's trying to do this can see kind of the process that I went through in order to do it, and to see ultimately if the solution I come up with is as close to a bolt-on solution as it possibly can be. You know, so I really would like to do this with just what I've got in the garage, and I don't have any lathes, don't have any mills. I've got a grinding wheel, you know, a bench grinder. I've got a angle grinder. I've got a drill. I've got a reciprocating saw, and ideally what I want to do is I want to build this bike myself. So that's the plan. I hope you're liking the content. I'm well aware that the previous videos are very fucking shit and that the editing is shit and it all feels a bit disjointed, but I'm kind of learning as I go along. I've started to do my own editing, and as I figure the software out, hopefully it will become a lot better. So for now, I'll leave it where it is. Please like, share and subscribe, you know, and let's see if I can make this a success. Cheers.